Yes, the rapture didn't come, but dicks do. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dix O News, where I bring you the best news available on some blogs somewhere. Moving on, starting off as always with the English Defence League, and this week there was a bit of trouble for some of them in the English Defence League when David Monks, a 34-year-old from Hayden Street in Bolton, pleaded guilty to using threatening behaviour and swinging a punch at a security staff at one of their rallies. He was sentenced to a 91-day curfew and has to be in at 6 AM every night. Yes, if you're going to behave like children, we're going to treat you like one. Next, we're going to implement special punishment for EDL members who misbehave, including wedgies, Chinese burns, and flushing their head down the lavatory. And there are two news stories now, ladies and gentlemen, that quite frankly are starting to push my patience with the Muslims. Yes, you heard that right. First story comes from earlier this week when 6 Muslim gentlemen who were arrested several months ago under a suspicion that they were plotting to assassinate the Pope were found to be completely innocent. And in fact, they were just telling a joke to each other in a canteen that was taken the wrong way. This is immensely ironic considering that murdering the Pope would have been one of the few things Muslims could have actually done in order to get themselves on the good side of the secular community. Speaking of the Pope, news just out from the Vatican, he's turning into Yoda. And the second story concerning Muslims comes from that epic bastion of journalism, the Daily Mail, where this week in Birmingham, a advertising board showing a picture of a model advertising a bikini was defaced and painted black. There's no reason to believe it is Muslims at the moment, however it is suspected to be so because the Daily Mail suggests they were trying to paint a burqa on them. I've given a lot of patience to Muslims. I've stood up for them in the past, but now you're not assassinating the Pope, and now you're stopping me gawping at women's tits. Fuck you, that's it, I'm joining the EDL. I'm going to go do something so naughty that the British court is going to have to sentence me to a pink belly slapping. Those of you who have followed me on my other channels will realise that I've received a lot of hate mail from a young man on here who goes by the name of Zalmir. However, I received a message from one of his friends this week, which I would like to present to you now.
Messing with my mate ain't on okay. Alright mate, listen, you don't know me, I don't know you, but my mate Adam, he's called Zalmir username on YouTube, said you've been slinging shit at him being a cunt, that sort of shit. Well mate, it ain't on. Don't know if your mum is a packy or some crap, but you're seriously wrecking him and I don't see my mate like that, okay? So you get it, you fat ponce. You don't like EDL, then fuck off to Wales, you slag. Quit messing with my mates or I'll fucking deck you.
That was of course read by D-Land and Cole, as we all know, Islamo sympathiser, Zionist chill and Holocaust denier. There is news coming out from Thailand that is quite worrying because they realise that the population of tigers is on the rise. The British responded to this by sending out one of our crack forces to find out what was actually going on.
Don't shoot, we're not a tiger. We were just,
One of the first stories on the Dix O News emanating from Russia. There was outrage this week when it was discovered that uniformed municipal police officer Miriam Misun, 31, from Russia, was discovered to be a high-profile member of a neo-Nazi organisation. He has publicly made statements that Roma people are, and I quote, asocial gypsy parasites. Well, I know Skaus Kasprek, so yeah, probably right. And he would like to institute labour camps and sterilisation. There has of course been outrage about this from the neo-Nazis who are disgraced that they've got a fucking copper in their ranks. You can't get any lower than that. Fox News apparently are hypocrites. This coming from earlier this week when they released a story saying they were uneasy about the fact that George Soros, who wears curly shoes and eats humus, is apparently influencing the media because they don't like the idea of an outside foreign influence getting involved in American media. That's Fox News, owned by this Australian scrotum-faced git.
It's very hard to be neutral.
I'm sure most of you are probably familiar with the Zorba the Greek song. Well, it turns out the man who wrote it is a raging anti-Semite. I just think that's funny. Over in Bulgaria, there was a white supremacist rally being held, There were fights that broke out when they decided to siege upon a mosque, and fights broke out in between the group and Muslim protesters who were there to counter. Now, people think Bulgaria isn't interesting, and you'd be fucking right. The only interesting thing I could find out is Bulgaria is one of the few countries that during World War II actually managed to preserve all their Jews. Now, I think we need to bring people together a bit now, because I'm sick of hearing all this. Every week it's going to be the same, that Muslims are fucking covering bikinis up, and fucking they're going to be out fighting with these people, and mosques are going to be attacked, and then there's anti-Semites coming out and fucking threatening about that, and Nazis coming out, and fucking people who write stupid little songs that are fucking... Well, fuck this. Fuck all of you. We're going to sort this out right now. We're going to have a Muslim-Jew dance-off, and there's only one song I think we can play alongside it. And in final news, an interesting story coming out of Russia where this week a man was arrested for being, get this, an extremist Jehovah's Witness. I don't even know what that means. Oh, maybe that'll be find out. Hello?
You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.